Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Reasonably Effective Podcast. I'm 10 Types, as always, joined by Uncommon Fossil.
Hello, glad to be here today and excited for what we're talking about. I believe we have all the cards now from Destined Rivals have been revealed, right? So we're going to do the definitive top 10 list or lists because I don't know if we can agree on what they are, right? That's the plan for today?
Yeah, but there is one card. Well, no, there's a few cards we need to talk about beforehand. These are cards that are in Japan's, they're like Japanese gym promos. They are presumably not in the set, and there are 7 of them. They're not all new. There's a couple of Team Rockets ones, which I don't think we need to talk about, right?
They're not they would not make the top 10 list
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I think they're pretty far away. But there is the Psyduck and Golduck. Did you look at these cards?
Mhm. Well, the tool card's not terrible, honestly.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's a disruptive tool.
If Team Rocket's decks are really good, then this will see play, is what I'd say.
Yeah, they could. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's very good.
All right. So the Psyduck and the Golduck. So let's see. So yeah, no, this is actually meaningful. So the Psyduck, assuming it has the ability to damp each player's Pokemon that has an ability with an effect that knocks out that Pokemon does not have that ability. So it seems like a counter to some card, if we can only figure out what that is. And the stage 1 has the same ability with the same exact text. Right, the attack is not particularly good. In fact, the attack's bad.
Oh yeah, the attack on the Golduck isn't translated here on Limitless. I assume it's 60, 20 more for each water. But anyways, that doesn't really matter. But obviously, this is a really good counter card to Dusknoir as well as some other stuff, but mostly Dusknoir. Well, in Dusclops.
Right.
And someone mentioned in like a YouTube comment that you could turn off the Psyduck with Klefki and the Golduck doesn't get turned off. But I feel like that's not going to be super common. We'll see. But anyways, that's the reason for the Golduck. But I feel like you'd mostly just play the Psyduck.
I know. I guess you're right. I was thinking the Golduck, they printed this to stop Fortress EX, right? Because that really is the big card. Fortress EX that accelerates bunch of 5 energies is it when it knocks itself out, right?
Yeah,
I
forgot that it existed. I was like, oh, you can also stop Magneton, which is like okay. I mean, Magneton's not amazing, but it's all right. But yeah, no, it's obviously mostly here for Dusknoir.
Yeah.
This will not be coming out for a little while, I don't think. Not sure exactly when, but yeah, that is on the way at some point, hopefully before Dusknoir rotates. So, yep.
Right. It'll probably come out, they said here, in some special set. And sometimes those special sets, you just don't know when they're going to come. So sometimes they come soon, sometimes they're really a long ways off.
Yeah. Do you think I think this card's good. I don't think it's broken, but I think it's pretty good.
First, I don't think Dusknoir is that big a problem that it needed a counter per se, but maybe. Honestly, I would not have put the ability on the basic though. I would probably just put the ability on the stage 1.
Yeah, I mean, like Dusknoir kind of targets you before you're set up, so sometimes you wouldn't necessarily be able to stop it. I mean, I think it's fine. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like Psyduck's in a pretty insane counter. Again, there was the Klefki thing that's pretty niche, in my opinion. So you can, I don't know, it's doable, but yeah, I think the ability it's pretty strong. Dusknoir is like annoying. A lot of people don't like it. You've talked about how you don't like it because it makes like long turns, but it's kind of annoying. I don't think it's bad to get a counter. I don't think it was like needed or anything, but it's fine. And yeah, I think that's all there is to say about these cards.
Yeah, I mean, there's less Dusknoir down. I think it's fine that they printed these cards. So we want to jump in now to our top 10 list. We each put together our own separate top 10 list. The other person has not seen. Is it time for the big reveal for both of us?
Yeah, I've not seen yours. I'm actually showing mine right now. But yeah, I'm going to open up yours and you'll look at mine.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so we each have the same top card. I'll just say that, which is Shaymin, which I'll talk about pretty quickly, and I guess you can add on if there's much to say. But it's Shaymin's a basic Pokemon. It has 80 HP, which is worse than 70. But anyways, you prevent all damage with this ability done to your bench Pokemon without a rule box by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So it's like Manaphy, but it doesn't defend rule box Pokemon, but that's not that big of a deal. So it's just like I reprinted that card. It's amazing for like stuff. It'll be played a lot. Honestly, probably a little overplayed, but still very good.
Yeah, I mean, there are some. Look, there are other good cards, so I considered not putting this at the top, but this is going to see the most play, right? This is going to be it's going to go be a one of in a lot of decks, right? Mostly a one of. It's bench barrier for your non-rule box Pokemon, which are mostly what you're worried about, right? Because we're in an evolution age, I think, which for the game, which is a good thing. So you got to protect those low HP Pokemon. So yeah, I think it's good. I think they did the same thing that they did when the Mew with bench barrier rotated. I think there was one set without bench protection, and then the Manaphy came out. I think the second set. I could be wrong about that though.
Yeah, it was something like that. But anyways, I don't think there's too much to say. This card also isn't a newer card. The Destined Rival set is made up of two main sets: the Team Rocket
Right.
set and yeah, Heatwave Arena.
Heatwave Arena. Right. Destined Rivals is coming out May 30th, by the way. So just that's when it comes available internationally. And also is the Stevens Metagross deck and the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck, right? With also those cards are in our Destined Rivals.
hmm and then yeah, well, I guess we're done with that, and we'll talk about I guess your second card, Team Rocket's Energy. I guess you do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, so Team Rocket's energy, it's a special energy. It can only be attached to a Rocket's Pokemon. I think the Team Rocket's cards are really good. I think they're all well. I think they're pretty good in general, and I think Team Rocket's energy is probably the most important card. I'll get to that in a second. So it only works to a Team Rocket's card, and then it provides two energy, a combination of Psychic and Darkness. In a lot of ways, I think the Team Rockets is a lot more like the battle styles than the other trainers because the other trainers didn't have enough cards. Team Rockets is a much richer set of cards. Fuller has more cards. It has energy, more trainers, items, and things like that. So it's more of a full form thing. And probably the key card going back to the battle styles, particularly the Rapid Strike, was Rapid Strike Energy. I think at this point in time, I'd say Rapid Strike Energy was probably the most important Rapid Strike card of all of them. It's really what made things work. So in that sense, I think Team Rockets is really big. I think this energy is going to be just really key to a ton of decks.
Yeah, I mean, I have it at 9 on my list, but I don't think it's crazy that you have it as the second best card in the set. I think the difference with this and Rapid Strike Energy, because I think Rapid Strike Energy was also probably arguably the key focus in the Rapid Strike decks. But for example, you have Rocket's Mimikyu, which is a Pokemon that you can power up with Team Rocket's energy, but you could also power it up not with Team Rocket's energy, and I think that might be fine in like Gardevoir or in like anything, right? It's not that hard to power up.
Right.
And some of the different Pokemon, I'm like, yeah, Team Rocket's energy is like nice for them, but they're not necessarily just good because of Team Rocket's energy. So that was my personal thought, but I mean, I don't think it's crazy that you think it's like amazing. I think it's also pretty good. I think the set is a really strong set, so that's why I have it lower on my list. But I was definitely considering it. It's definitely, honestly, like a lot of the cards kind of like jumped around a lot as I was making the list. But yeah, it's really good. I think the attacks are just like okay on a lot of the Pokemon. Like they're decent, but not insane. I think the Team Rocket stuff has some pretty solid attacks, but also has a lot of other different pieces that make it good on top of that.
Yeah, look, I mean, within this, we're going to talk about some of the Team Rockets cards, but I'm pretty sure there's other Team Rockets cards that, like Pokemon, with like, especially there's some single prizes that you're going to put one copy of this Pokemon, one copy of that card in, as long as you're playing the Team Rockets energy. And, it's really the Team Rockets energy that'll be the glue for some of these Team Rockets decks, I think. There'll be some specific ones not built around that, but I think there'll be a bunch of decks built around the energy.
Maybe, yeah, I think that could be true. I think, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about some more of them. You don't have that many Team Rockets. Well, no, actually, we have the same number of Team Rockets Pokemon on our list, but I have more Team Rockets stuff in general. Anyway, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I think like the single prizers, there's the Rockets Mimikyu, which we'll talk about, but then there's also the like there's a Wobbuffet and there's like I think it's Sneasel and like stuff like that, and they're okay. I don't think they're super good. They're like okay single prize attackers, which aren't like super impressive, but they're all right. And I guess the Rock's energy is like the main like focal point of that. But I don't know. I think it's obviously I think it's a little worse than you do.
Yeah, I mean, let me say, I assume you don't have, like, there's like the Rockets wheezing, for instance, that would use the energy, which isn't on my list. And, things like that is what, that you can work with it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I actually do have an extra Rockets Pokemon, but what do you want to go to now?
Do you want to go to your number two or keep working down my list?
I think let's keep working down. Yeah, let's go to the Stevens Metagross DX, which we both have at 3 here. And so yeah, you want to talk about it actually?
Yeah, so this is a nice tanky Pokemon, 340 HP, which is kind of which will be a bit, which is a lot of HP. And then it also has two cards to pair with it. What there's Steven's Carabink and Granite Cave. You don't have those in your list, do you?
No, I mean no, they're grouped in with this card though. Like
Yeah,
that's why it's here partially.
right. They make it tankier, those two cards. So look the Steven's 340 HP, decently tanky. There's Granite Cave, the Stadium, which your Steven's Pokemon take 30 less damage, and then Steven's Carabink, which is a basic Pokemon, so nice and easy to get into play. And it's got the ability Stone Palace. I don't know if the translation of the name is correct, but your Steven's Pokemon take 30 less damage as well. So you can reduce damage by 60. So therefore, it would
Yeah.
take
Oh, sorry.
400.
With the Carabank random thing, it does not protect itself, which is kind of like weird, but just wanted to mention that. Oh, and it does not stack either. That is meaningful. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and which is probably good. It doesn't stack. So it's a basic Pokemon. You could get a bunch out in your bench, and then it would be, But look, it's really for the Stevens Metagross. I think these cards at 400 HP, you're not going to get one shot a lot. So the attack on it's a stage two, so that's the downside. But we're playing a world a lot of stage twos. It is 3 energy, which is okay, but tricky to power up. But it's got the X boot ability, which is also part of why this Pokemon's so good. Whether it's for this deck or it'll work going other things as well. Once during your turn, you can search your deck for a basic Psychic energy and a basic Metal energy, and attach them to your Psychic and Metal Pokemon any way you like. So it's not restricted to Steven's Pokemon. So can also go in not other decks as well. You can't use it to power up your Dragapult because that's not one of those types, but that's a nice ability. That makes it a lot better. And look, there's a lot of good energy acceleration, I think, with these cards. So this is one of them. The 200 damage is okay. That's not great, that's for sure, but it's super tanky, right? And I think it's going to be a beast of a card.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think when we talked about this, I said it was gonna like kind of insane, and you're like, it's okay. And so, and then you said the Cynthia's stuff is better, and that's not even on your list. But anyways,
You're
um,
right. I was thinking honestly, the Stevens Metagross could have been in the number one slot for me too. I think it's at that potential. I think.
yeah, I think it's really good. I don't think necessarily the deck's gonna be like amazing just based on what we've seen before with tanky decks. Tanky decks tend not to be like truly top tier. Like Hisuian Gudra V-Star, the Lucario and Melmetal deck, right? That was good. Probably like what
Right.
deck 5 or something. Seems like
Yeah.
I don't know, just like an estimate off the top of my head, which is like good, but not like very broken. And I think a little underplayed as well. You'd probably say as well. For like a lot of tanky decks, they're just tanky decks that are like attacking, damaging decks. Are generally just a little, I think, underrated, but like, yeah, I think it's really good. And it doesn't require a tool. The Cynthia's Garchomp EX actually has the same amount of HP essentially, but it does require a tool. So you could stick on Hero Escape, I guess, is like the tanky tool there. You can't, I don't think there's a different tanky tool that you could put on it, but if there is, that would be nice as well. And yeah, it's pretty decent. I don't think it's not super strong, and the partners are just okay that you could pair with it to like attack. And then you're not like taking advantage of the tankiness, presumably. I mean, you could pair it with the other Steven stuff, but they're pretty weak. And then
Yeah.
you could pair it with like there are a bunch of different attackers though. You could do Hop, Sashi, and EX. And this Pokemon is kind of like a Caledon. It has more HP and the energy is easier to use, I think. But it is a stage two, obviously. And then also another thing that is nice about it is that it gets the energy from the deck, so it's like self-sufficient. It's almost self-sufficient, sufficient like Charizard EX, and you can keep going.
Right.
And so it's kind of like Pokemon like Vikavolt from a while ago by now, or Archeops that just rotated, where you can get a bunch of energy on the board and theoretically kind of play as something like that and have a mix of different options that theoretically could be really strong. You just need to kind of see what happens. I mean, Team Rocket's Mimikyu is on both of our lists, and it could be paired with that, and that's probably a solid attacking option. And there's a bunch of those.
Yeah, I mean the biggest problem is it's 200 damage is not what you want. So you're in the range where you're two-shotting things. You're two-shotting everything. and hopefully you're getting three shot because damage reduction is better than adding HP, right? Because ideally, like I said,
Yeah.
you kind of for the most part, right? Unless you're getting one shot. So as long as but
Well, no,
damage
if you are
reduction is
getting one shot, it's like about the same. If you're getting like damage
yeah,
counters or instant knockout, well, no, instant knockout, I guess it doesn't matter either way. But if it's like some effect and attack, then um, it's worse, but generally it's better. Yeah.
right. So we could go with some healing, and you could also, since it doesn't need a tool for this, you could a tool to buff the damage would be nice as well, right? Because if you could get, certainly like with Defiance, was it band belt,
Yeah,
whatever it is,
band, I'm pretty sure.
I think then you're at 230. So then you're one shotting the basic EXs for the most part, which is a big deal. So things like that, having the option of a tool, I think is a plus, with this. So we both like it a lot, obviously.
Yeah, and the HP is enough that something like, say, Original EX isn't necessarily even one-shotting you, and having to get through a bunch of these is going to be really difficult. Your opponent will be able to gust around some, but how much value is that can get them? Like, you probably want to avoid playing two prizes then on your bench, and you can probably do that as well. Or if you play them, they could just be like Pheasant Dipty, which is like really good, in which case you want that because it's amazing, or you can just not play it. It's up to you, but yeah, it's really good. The next one, I think we should wait. What's your next one? Let's talk about. Okay, I want to talk about my number two now, which is this is actually two cards. It's the Team Rocket's Crobat and the Team Rocket's Golbat, or sorry, Team Rocket's Crobat EX. That's the stage two, and these have abilities on play. And the Golbat has the ability Sneaky Bite, which on play, on evolution from hand, you put two damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. And Rocket's Crobat EX says put two damage counters on two of your opponent's Pokemon. Also, you do have the attack Lethal Return on the Rocket's Crobat EX. When you attack with it, you return this Pokemon into their hands. You discard the attached cards, but it can be used for one Team Rocket's energy. So, Uncommon Fossil, how close were you to putting this on your list?
It's in. It was like my number 12 card, and at one time it was in my top 10. It wouldn't have been in the top half of my top 10 though, is what I'd say. But it was probably, it would be my number 12 card
Okay,
for me.
so I think I think it's really good because I mean it's extra damage, right? And it's not
Yes.
super commit, like you can just kind of draw into it and play it whenever. And we've seen cards like this in the past, and I think they've been good. I mean, Starmie's kind of similar, and that's worse, but like this is you have the stage two, so you can get a bunch of damage, and I don't know. I just think it's really nice. I think extra damage is always nice, and this is pretty versatile. So I like it. It can be good in the Team Rocket stuff. It has some synergy there. It's not absolutely insane there, but I think it's decent. But I don't know. I just
Yeah.
like things like this, and I think they are good. And we've seen things like this be good before as well.
Yeah, no, I do like the card. I got to say that. The reason first, I think some of the cards are better, so I do like this. The weaknesses with it is first just its HP. It's at 310, so that's low for a stage two prizer. So I'm not thrilled about that. And then the attack obviously is it doing 120 on a stage two EX is very disappointing. Right now, you can do it for a Team Rocket's energy. But you discard the energy. The nice thing is all the Pokemon go back into your hand. Oh, I was going to say your deck, but no, it goes into your hand, which is even better. So, but you lose the energy, or you have to get two darkness energies attached. So, um, it's the attack is the weak part, right,
Well,
on the
yeah, but I
card.
don't think you really attack with it. I think it'll be played in like, let's just say, this probably doesn't make that much sense, but in like Steven Metagross EX, you're short on damage, but just by a little bit. And then you play this in it, and you don't ever attack with it, and it only has one retreat. I think they all have one retreat, which is fine. It could have three retreat. That is something we sometimes see on Pokemon in this line, but that's certainly fine. One retreat, so you can get it out, and you just play this, and it's not like it's a little weaker, or no, I guess it's substantially weaker than Steven's Metagross EX, but that's like absurdly tanky. But it's not like 310 is some massive liability on your bench, and then it just gets the extra damage, allows you to get prizes easier, and it's just really nice for that. And you don't ever attack with it. And then you could Turbo Scenario it up as well. That seems like really solid, not like absolutely amazing, but it seems decent. And like really like solid value from that card. So I think it's going to be played. It's kind of in some ways it kind of reminds me of Dusknoir. That's like I don't know if that's a good comparison, but like it's way weaker, but it allows you to you can get value out of the stage 1 and also the stage 2 and get some more pressure on your opponent's board. And you could put this in something like Dragapult to get a little bit of extra damage and not knock yourself out. So I don't know. I think it's really good, obviously.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's more like a Galarian Zigzagoon, right? Where you place damage counters, and we
Yeah.
have the one that puts damage
Hawlucha,
to
yeah.
Halucha, which I've been playing some, although I don't like Halucha, but I've been playing it some, I gotta say. So maybe like I've been an Eternus VMAX fan, and so maybe this goes in that. You need Darkness Pokemon, placing those damage counters, right? Anything that goes in Eternus, I guess, is good too, right?
Yeah, and expand it, yeah. But yeah, I think it's good. I could see it definitely lower. I think it's gonna be. I'm pretty confident it's gonna be played some, because it's like pretty versatile. I think it's one of the more versatile cards on. Certainly, I think your list has most of your Pokemon are not versatile. The only one that is Shaymin, and I guess like the Rock Synergy is like in some different things, but it's not that wide variety of stuff. But what do we? Okay, I want to talk about the stadium next. So this is which did you consider this on your list? Is this on your like just off the list?
We'll try to remember. No, what's this?
This
Wait,
is
what's the
Team
stadium?
Rocket's Watchtower, which says both players' colorless Pokemon have no abilities. So this is so obviously colorless is it's pretty good, right? If you look at the metagame, you see that you have Noctowl played a bunch. You have
Yeah.
Pidgeot, it's not played as much, but it's still good. And those are the main ones. There's some other stuff in Trapagos. There's what is there? We got Buffalant, we got Fan Rotom, we got Ditto, and there's more Pokemon as well. There's like Snorlax, and Squawkabilly EX. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Though this is, that's turn 1, so it's a little different. But I think this is really good, specifically for Pidgeot EX and Noctowl. It's like it reminds me a lot of Path. It's not quite Path, notably not shutting down Pheasantipty EX, which is like a highly played Pokemon in almost every deck. But I think this card is really good. And like it's a good stadium. We don't see these all the time, but I think this will be the best stadium in the game when it comes out. Um, Probably Area Zero Underdepths is pretty good, but I think this is better.
Um, I I just kept it's restricted to the colorless Pokemon, so that's my problem with it,
But
right?
that's like a
That's the
lot
big
of good
strike.
Pokemon, and that means it's not shutting down all of your Pokemon either, which is like good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be that. I'm not sure it's gonna be that played. I gotta say, it's gonna be played more than Artisan, right? I'm not so
Maybe. I mean,
sure about
Artizone's kind of different. That's also good. Artizone's like a search card, but yeah. I think that yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like it disrupts a lot of decks. And it's pretty hard to like deal with once it's like in play. I mean, you could bump it, but if there's a stadium that everyone's trying to bump, I mean, that's still a good stadium. And then I don't know, it just like it shuts down so many things, which is and so many good things as well. So many things that are like key parts of decks, and yeah, I just think it's gonna be.
I,
I think it's gonna be good, unless Pokemon prints like a good engine that's not colorless. But we don't really have that right now.
yeah. I I get it. Uh-oh. I am not recording. I realize. So I'm going to need
Oh,
to get
okay.
your file,
I'll
just so
send
you
that to
know.
you.
I somehow, yeah,
Okay,
something
yeah, yeah.
happened.
So,
Okay, so sorry. So let me just say this though on the stadium. I don't think this is the best Team Rocket stadium.
you don't? I mean, I think
I
the
do
other one's
not.
is
I think the
decent.
other stadium's better. Look, I think the other stadium, and I'm going to talk about that some. I think the other stadium, if I'm playing a Team Rockets deck, I'm playing Team Rockets
Well,
Factory. But
but
we'll get.
I agree with
I
that.
think
But
Team
if you're
Rockets
not playing,
Watchtower is one. It's it's kind of like those battle styles cards that other decks played, right? That's what the Team Rockets Watchtower is. If you're playing a Noctowl deck, then you need to have a counter to it, right? And if you're worried about Noctowl, like Terapagos or something, then you're playing this Watchtower in your deck. So it's not really a Team Rockets card.
it's not. No, it's definitely like.
Um,
I mean, it kind of. Wait, is it a Team Rockets card at all? I
it's a
was like
Team
thinking.
Rockets card.
Oh yeah,
I
it
mean,
says it
it's
is
in
in
the
the name.
name, but
Um,
it doesn't have synergy with it.
no, but that doesn't
I
mean it's bad.
I think it's more a card if you're playing a deck that this causes trouble, you need to be prepared for it. I'm not sure that putting this in your deck is going to make your deck better, right? Because it's a counter to certain things, but you've taken up deck space that could be something else. So is it actually bad for your
Yeah, well, I
deck?
feel like
I'm
that's
not
the same
certain.
thing. You could say the same thing for Shaymin. And we both agreed that Shaymin was the best card in the set. I mean, like you said, like
Yeah.
you could argue that there are cards better than it, but like it's very good. I think it's a pretty similar deal. I think it counters more things than Shaymin counters. I think it's not quite as big. Like Shaymin, if you don't have it, you might just like instantly lose like a good percent of games. So like of like those matchups, but this is strong. It's not going to instantly win you those games, but it could put. I mean, it could put you in an amazing position in those matchups.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, look, it's another. It's just we both, we said at the beginning, it's a good set, and this is a good card, and I think for like the last set, what Journey
Journey together,
Together,
yeah.
this would have been, a really a top card in Journey Together possibly. I think it's a good card. It
Okay,
will see
okay.
play. So anyway.
Yeah, so you think it's a good card? You think it's just not as good as yeah, I think I mean, yeah, this is just a really good set. This one was originally like lower for me, but now it's here. Anyways, let's talk about do you want okay, let's talk about Team Rocket's receiver. I assume then you're going to talk about the other stadium and a bunch of cards, right?
Yeah, so Team Rocket's receiver. Well, I
Or are we
think
not?
so. Team Rocket's receiver. What was that?
I was like I assume that we that's where we talk about those cards, and I figure that's partially why Team Rocket's receiver is here, right?
Yeah, look, I think, and this is team. See, the Team Rockets that reminds me of two things. It reminds me of the battle styles, particularly the Rapid Strike, because I think it's more that style, and it reminds me of the tag team package.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, specifically the
and
tag call package, because a lot of decks that played tag
right,
teams didn't play tag call.
right, the tag call packages. So that's what Team Rocket's receiver is a lot like tag call. It's not quite as good, but Team Rocket's receiver, it's an item card that you search your deck for a support of the rocket in its name. So that's really good, right? If you had an item that let you search for any supporter, it would be super insane. So the problem is though the Team Rocket's supporters are okay. I don't think neither of us have any on our list, correct?
No, I mean, I think that, well, I said on my list, like visually, no, but on my list, I said the Team Rockets, this card, right, the Team Rockets receiver, and then I said in parentheses all
Yeah.
the Team Rockets supporters. But like I think they're pretty solid. For example, Team Rockets Petrol is search your deck for a trainer, reveal it, put into your hand, which is the same as Skyla, which is like a no,
Hmm.
what is that the right name? Uh, yeah, yeah. And that's like a tier two supporter, something like that. So it's like a solid
Right.
supporter. There's ones like a Gust, which is good. There's a bunch of draw. There's some disruption, and so overall, it's like a whole supporter package if you have them for Team
Right.
Rocket's deck. Though most of them are just Team Rockets specific.
Yeah, no, I mean, right. I mean, I think this is for Team Rockets decks, right? You have the Ariana that lets you draw to 5 or 8 if you have a only Team Rockets card in play. Again, it's okay, right? It's not
Yeah, I
great,
mean,
but
draw till
it's
8 is good.
right. And so you're gonna have like 1 or 2 copies of a lot of these supporters in your deck, right? You have an extra gusting card that you can then search out with. You're gonna play 4 of the item card, Team Rocket
Yeah.
receiver, in a mix of of these supporters, and then you're also going to play in your deck multiple copies of the best Team Rockets Stadium, Team Rockets Factory, because what that does, which that goes with along with this item as well to me, when you play a Team Rocket supporter, you draw 2 extra cards to your hand, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It is like, playing another card to get more value. So it's like, I know it is taking up a stadium spot, but that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I think it's a decent card. I think it probably goes with the Team Rocket stuff and is a nice little addition to allow you to get some extra value off of these supporters. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's decent. I mean, I think it was good. It was like in consideration, I guess, but it didn't make my like top 20. Honestly, like a lot of these like top 20 cards. Oh no, it did. Yeah, it's 14 for me. So it's
The
decent. The
Team
stadium.
Rockets Factory.
Yeah.
This, I mean, to me, right? I mean, it wouldn't have made the top 10 as in of itself, but once you have the item card and you play the supporters, again, the supporters go along with the receiver, and I think the stadium goes along with it as well because you're probably playing a couple copies of the stadium once you're committing to that package. I suspect, right? Because like you get to gust your opponent with the Giovanni, which is a weird name for it. We talked about that because it's like Guzma,
Yeah.
and you also get to draw 2 cards. when you play, in a sense, you get to play boss and draw two cards with the boss in a sense, right? That's really good. So it's just it's a very nice package. Like I said, I think the Team Rockets, the Pokemon are pretty good. The reason I don't have a lot of Team Rockets in my top 10 is because I don't think they're great cards, but I think they're good cards, and I think it's a good set that allows a lot of versatility, and this receiver is a big part of that.
Yeah. And then I think I really wanted to like be able to play these not in Team Rockets, and I think that's not doable at all. Even if you are like sprinkling in some Team Rocket stuff, um, like the Crobat or the Mimikyu,
Right.
um, I don't think you could really play this and like have some Team Rocket supporters, unfortunately. So and again, I really want to do that, but still, you have like a really good supporter package within the Team Rocket deck, and it's going to make it a lot better.
Yeah, look, the Team Rocket supporters are geared around Team Rocket's cards. So you probably it's going if you're going with one of these decks. I think the question is going to be can I put a Pheasantipede in my deck, or do I need to not have that because that causes some trouble with some of these supporters, right? I think it's you got to have almost all Team Rockets and possibly just Team Rockets Pokemon.
Yeah, and that can get pretty awkward. There isn't really draw, right? Like,
That's a problem. That's a problem. So you're gonna have your engine's gonna be your four receivers and four Pokegear 3.0s.
yeah.
And those type of decks go okay, but not great, right? Usually.
Um, yeah. They're interesting. You like them. You like those types of decks, I know. But anyways, so
Yeah.
that stuff's like good. Obviously, cards like this are good. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's like too much to say about that. Then we have my next card is the Team Rockets Mimikyu, or Rockets. Like the supporters are Team Rockets, or the trainers, and then the Pokemon are Rockets translated here. So we'll see what that's like. But anyway, so Rockets Mimikyu. This is a card that we talked about, but we didn't know everything it said, but we kind of knew. So anyway, Psychic Colorless on a basic 60 HP. Oh, free retreat as well. That's like cool. Um,
Yeah.
and so it does. Oh, random thing. Just want to mention this card. It's right next to Team Rocket's Mimikyu. It's the Rocket's Tingling, which is a baby Pokemon. We're getting another one of those, and it's a Team Rocket. So it discards a random card for your opponent's hand. Not very good, but figured I'd mention it because that's fun. Probably the last one we're gonna get, but anyways. The Mimikyu though, it says you copy an attack for your opponent's active Terra Pokemon and use it as the effect of this attack, and then it is payable for one Rocket's energy, and then there's
Yeah.
also it can be paid. It's psychic colorless. It can be paid within like Terra Box or something like that as well.
Yeah, I mean, my primary way I see this is, and I had it at six, right? You had it at five, I had it at six, so very comparable positions. If you're playing a Team Rockets deck with the Team Rockets energy, you're putting at least one copy of Team Rockets of Rockets Mimikyu. And the funny thing is, which mentioned to you when we were talking before the podcast, I guess it's called Rockets Mimikyu, not Team Rockets, because each of the Rockets Pokemon has a trainer on it, but they're not all the same trainer. So there's always a Rockets person on it, right? But it varies. It's a little weird that way. But
Yeah.
so look, you're playing a Team Rockets deck with the Team Rockets energy. You're slapping at least one copy in, right? Because you're not going to build a deck just with this, but you can copy a Terra Pokemon for a basic that you can power up with one energy, single prize. It's awesome, right? When it works.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. I like it in other decks. I think it's really good in Dragon Ball. It can one shot with Liz Clefairy EX and like be kind of insane. So yeah.
Yeah, no. It's just it's good. So I don't think you had. Let me just toss. You don't have Wobbuffet right on your list, and I assume it's not an
No.
honorable mention for
Yeah,
you.
no. I
Like
like mentioned it, but didn't really talk about it.
I'm just going to bring that up quickly because it kind of fits in with this as well. It's another Rockets basic Pokemon that for again a Psychic Colorless. It's got a nice attack. You move all damage counter when you're benched Team Rockets Pokemon. Your opponent's active, so I don't think it's going to be an inclusion in every Team Rockets deck. But again, there's a few of these Team Rockets cards that you can slap in to make a bit of a box style deck, which I always like.
Yeah. Um, Though I don't know, I don't think that stuff is the best way to run it. I don't know. I'm going to talk about my next card, which is the wait.
Yeah.
So do you have this on your list at all? The Team Rockets Arbok.
Let me take a look. Was it connected? I don't think I did. It was in the running, but it didn't make it, right? For me, I don't believe. No, it's not. It's not. I don't think I have it connect with anything
Okay,
either.
so this card, what it does is it says that it has an attack that does 30 to your opponent's Pokemon for 3 darkness. That's like not super good. It's actually kind of bad because of just a lot of different things. Shaymin, and it has like bottom synergy with the Rocket's Crobat line. I kind of like that there and some stuff, but it's not great. But you can pay it using or for 2 energy, including the Rocket's energy, or 1 with just a reversal. But then you also have the ability Intimidating Glare, which says if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any Pokemon with abilities from their hand, excluding Rocket's Pokemon. So that's a thing, but that doesn't really matter. The thing that matters is this like stops your opponent from playing like every Pokemon, not every Pokemon in the game, but like almost every Pokemon in the game that people play. Outside of what, like Trapagos, Dragapult, Raging Bolt, those EXs, and like some like pre-evolution basics, but that doesn't like really matter. And like there's a couple of other Pokemon that they can play down. But most of the good ones, like most of the cores of most decks, people can't play.
Yeah, I look. It was in when I was going through my initial list. It was on the initial list because it is very appealing. I don't think in most Team Rockets deck you're gonna play it. You're gonna have to build a deck kind of around it. The problem is the attack's bad, right? It's 3 energies. It's not doing a ton of damage. Actually, the attack's interesting when you get powered up, right? 30 to each opponent's Pokemon. So that's actually pretty good. I think you're not going to get it powered up. So I think it's more of a wall Pokemon that you're going to hide behind. So maybe like you're playing the Crobat deck, maybe you can attack with Crobat and it goes into your deck and you leave this up as the active. I'm thinking I might want to try a Alakazam EX deck, right? That attacks from the bench, and now I got another wall to hide behind here, along with the other pieces. So, but I think it's kind of those shenanigans, like those type of things I'm talking about, is where it's going to have the most value.
Um, yeah, I think so. It's like kind of weird, but I think it has the potential to be really good. We'll see if it just does end up just being gimmick or ends up being really good. But definitely a card that I'm going to keep an eye on. That it seems really annoying to play against at the very least. Kind of like Glare and Wheezing. It's a little different. I say it's a little worse, but it's still pretty good. Actually, I don't know if it's worse.
Well, it's just a matter of if you can get it. If you build, do you build the deck to power it up to attack?
I
Maybe
think
you
so.
do.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have Dark Patch anymore, so it's not as good. Expanded like with the energy that gives you free retreat and Dark Patch and stuff, it gets a lot better with that. So it wants some of those pieces to be viable, I think, right?
I guess. I mean, it's not like that hard. You can power it up in like a couple of turns. If you're slowing your opponent down a ton, then it doesn't really matter how long it takes to get powered up, unless it's like 5 turns. But it's like 2, right? So it's not that bad.
Right. Well, and we do have my honorable mention card, by the way, is let me double check to make sure I got this thing right. Is the Marnie's Grim Snarl.
Oh, okay.
That can
Or
power
no,
that
that
that will
can't.
power.
No, it's only
Oh, is
that's
that?
only Marnie's.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I'm pretty
only
sure.
okay. So you'd have to Thornton. No, but Thornton's not in
You
standard.
could
So okay,
energy
yeah.
switch
So
or something. Um,
yeah. So yeah.
you could
How
Janine. You
good
could
it?
Janine Secret Technique, and that can get it on. So
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
So it's fun. I like this type of thing. My sense is it's not going to work because usually those things for me don't work. But it's certainly giving it a try is I get it.
Yeah. And then we have, so I think this card's really good. I could see it being higher on the list, honestly. Then I have, oh no, let's talk about your next card, which is your number 5, which is Ethan's Magcargo. Um, and
Oh right.
yeah, that seems like really high. I mean, I think this card's not terrible, but I think it's like okay.
Well, and
We
it
could also
goes
talk about, should we
with.
talk about all the Ethan stuff now? Because I don't have any on my list, but I have some just
I
off
mean,
the
it
list.
goes with there's the Ethan's Ho-Oh, right? That has to go with it.
Yeah, that was my 11 card. Wait, is that grouped in here for you?
I mean, yeah, yes. The Ho-Oh is grouped in with it. So let me just call that one up. So the Magcargo, look, this is the type of deck I like. This is like the new Rapid Strike Malamar in format. That's what it is. Okay.
I
And,
guess, but that was like
and
only
that's
1 energy, and this is 5.
well, Yeah. So look, what it is, it's a stage one. I like stage one single prize Pokemon. And it's got an ability for retreat without energies. It takes 3 energies to attack. You can, if you can, it does 70 damage per fire energy. You discard up to 5. You can discard. So that's 350. So you're one-shotting basically everything, which is really, single prize you can one-shot with is always good. That you need multiple Ethan's Ho-Oh EX in play, okay, to make it happen. I obviously I get that, but it's a basic Pokemon, so you can get it into play. And then once during your turn, the Ho-Oh has the ability you catch up to 2 basic fire energies from your hand to your bench Ethan's Pokemon. So you have to then swing in the active. It takes some shenanigans, but because it's the Ho-Oh is a basic, I think it's got potential. Honestly, what I would say is this is a bit of a fun, hopeful deck, which I think is comparable to your Arbok deck.
Yeah, I think I like the Ethan's Ho EX for like armors, um,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I think with Magcargo it's kind of mediocre. Um, yeah, like his
What
you.
what I'll say is I was close. If I would have said probably I did it visually where it's just one card per tier. Probably in most cases there was a clear number one card and other supporting cards. I think the Ethan's Ho-Oh and the Ethan's Magcargo are kind of equal to me. In a lot of ways, I could see the argument that the Ethan's Ho-Oh is the better card and belongs in the top 10 of itself because it's a very good ability.
Yeah, I think that one to me is there. I don't think that my character is super good. I mean, it's like decent when powered up, but it's kind of awkward. Also so you have the Ethan's Typhlosion. Let's talk about that as well. And also, so you haven't looked at any Japanese tournament results, right? I assume,
I
or
have
like not really.
not. No,
So the best
no.
card from this set, there aren't any Rockets Pokemon. They're not even out in Japan yet. But the Ethan's Adventure is actually the top card from the set in Japan. I think maybe. Or no, actually the
Okay.
Shaymin might be. I don't remember. But ignoring the Shaymin because I didn't look at it because it's boring. It's good, but it's boring. Is the Ethan's Adventure? I think that's the top card, and what it does is it searches for either three in any combination of basic Fire Energy or Ethan's Pokemon, and it's played in some different things, including with the Typhlosion and with Goldengo as well.
Wait, what was that card again? You said was being
The
played?
Ethan's Adventure, the one that's paired with Typhlosion.
Okay,
Ethan's
right. That's
Typhlosion.
part of this deck, and yeah. So Ethan's Typhlosion, it does for 1 energy. It's a stage two. That's the downside. You're using the first attack for 1 energy. What energy attacks I always like. It does 40 plus 60 for each Ethan's Adventure in the discard pile. So what's 6 times 2? So you're doing 280, right? That kind of magic number, or it was the magic number, right? Still, look, 280 on single prize is very good for 1 energy. And the stage one you like in this deck, or at least I like it. You need it because
Hmm.
the Quilava, I guess, you can search your deck for an Ether's Adventure once during your turn, and you can have multiple ones in play and get multiple. So should pick up the Ether's Adventures in the discard pile pretty quickly then. So then you have a single prize. It's only 1 energy. That's kind of what I like about it as well. So I think it's it was 10. It was maybe it was like on and off the top 10 list for me. The Typhlosion.
Yeah, I think it's I personally don't think it's good. As it is played in Japan, but I think it's kind of bad. I think the one that is the cool card is the Ho-Oh EX. We'll see though. It
Okay.
definitely has potential. Like there's some decent stuff going on with it. Do you think like the Ethan's deck will be a good deck or just like a fun deck?
I think it's probably more of a fun deck. I think I think the Typhlosion, because it's a stage two, it's probably not going to succeed. I think the Magcargo is the more fun one because it can blow stuff up. And then, but yeah, the Ho-Oh is potentially could go in other decks as well. Like you said, like any Armarouge deck, you could get that in to power up whatever other attacker you want. So, you know, the the Ho-Oh's gonna see the most play, I would think. The Magcargo could be the top single prize deck from this set, is what
Yeah.
I'd
Oh
say.
wait, so I was looking at your top. I didn't even realize Misty's Gyarados was on there. That okay. We'll talk about that in a second. I think that card's kind of bad. I mean, I don't think it's that
Kind of
bad,
bad.
but I think like I don't know. It kind of feels like you have like some like kind of silly cards on here when there are like really good cards as well in the set. But anyways, so I want to talk about my next card, which is Team Rocket's Venture Bomb, which I think is really good. Did you consider this one?
What Venture Bomb? I don't even know what this card is. Let me look it up.
Yeah, it's like broken. No, I think it's kind of insane, honestly. But it's like kind of weird. It's kind of gimmicky, but it can be like absurdly broken.
All
Um,
right, so I got to read through. Oh yeah, I looked at it and I said no. There's like every other card's better. Okay, so flip a coin. That's the first word. So that's not a good sign. If heads, 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If tails, 2 on your active Pokemon. So it's 50-50 which way it's going. You have a slight advantage in the card because you get to choose which Pokemon. You can put on a bench Pokemon, I guess. But um, I mean, so what are you doing with this card? What sort of deck is going in to make this actually good?
so my immediate thought was Donk. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, people are gonna
Yeah,
play because people are like playing Pekaron. Sometimes they put in Iron Thorns. I've seen that. You could just play like Pekaron and Iron Thorns, EX and like that stuff, and then toss this in. That seems kind of bad, but it seems kind of funny. It doesn't seem terrible, honestly. Like it seems okay. But people are kind of like, if they like realize it, then it's not very good because they can just kind of play around it. But um, this allows you, so it's a coin flip, which is an issue, but you can play a bunch of these and they kind of guarantee you get one, right? That's like pretty doable. Not guarantee,
yeah,
but like realistically, you can probably get one. And so 2 extra damage counters is nice, and it's an item, so you can just play these down. We were talking about Defiance Band, but Defiance Band isn't always active, and it's like it's a tool, so it like takes up the tool slot. And Team Rocket's Venture Bomb is not that. It's an item, which is really nice. You can play as many of these as you want, and I think you could just toss these in to get some extra damage. It's kind of like 10 extra damage, but it can go anywhere. Um, on average, it's 10 extra to your opponents. I think doing the self
right.
damage is not that bad. I definitely rather it not be on my active. I'd probably rather it be on some like random bench Pokemon, but whatever. I think this card just is extra damage, which is really nice. Doesn't really have necessarily synergy with Snuff, but I think it's decent. It's kind of similar to the Rockets Crobat line, honestly. That's more reliable, but
Yeah,
also it's like a stage 2 and a stage 1, and you need to like find these pieces. This is a card that is just a random item. You can play it. You can play like research or whatever, draw a bunch of items and play these down as you get them, and do damage through items, which is kind of crazy. Like we don't really see this. We don't see trainers that just do damage straight up. So this is, and like as I mentioned, Defiance Band. You could use Defiance Band and also Team Rocket's Venture Bomb to get extra damage. You can kind of just add damage on. This can go into any deck, and extra damage is just always good.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see what it sees use in. Because look, I'm glad they print a card like this. I don't happen to think it's going to be too good. Now, there was a Pokemon that if it had damage counters on it, does more damage, right? In this set, which I don't
Uh,
think is on either of our top tens, but I think I remember talking about it recently.
I don't remember talking
Um,
about it.
and,
Maybe
and part of the
is.
problem was how to get the damage on. So
Oh yeah, it's
maybe
the Annihilate. Yeah.
in what was it? Was it a trainer's Pokemon or just its own thing?
No, it's just its own thing. But this isn't really. It's like a Team Rockets card, the item anyway. But it's not really. It's just a general trainer.
No, I know. I just yeah. So the Annihilate, if it has two, but maybe this is what you need for Annihilate. That's if it has 2 more damage counters, it does 120 more damage. So that's doing 300 on a single price Pokemon.
Um,
Um,
well, no, that'd
so
be
you
if you. It's doing 280.
yeah. I guess your math is better than
Yeah,
mine. But
if you flip a heads and then a tails, then you're doing 300 essentially.
is it you flip 2 coins or you flip one
Oh no, you
coin?
flip one, but if you play two and you get one heads and one tails, then you're.
Oh, then right. So I'm just remember we didn't know how to. I was just
Yeah,
thinking
no,
through. Wait, there was a
this
card
is what
that
you should
needed
do
that
in
damage.
Dodrio. You want Dodrio. You like Dodrio.
I do love
It's
Dodrio.
Dodrio time. Yeah.
Yeah, I might put in my You're right. Dodrio could go in my Dodrio deck. So, it's a funny card, right? Is what I think. I think you would agree too.
Yeah, no, I do. It's a really weird one. Like this one has gone up and down the list. I think the most of any of these cards. Honestly, a lot have, because they're kind of weird. They're kind of like niche, but they're like kind of absurd when they do what they want. When they do what you want them to do, and they can just kind of auto win matches and stuff. Not this one, but it can. I mean, it can be really good. It can like instantly win at the beginning as well, paired with stuff that people do play.
Yeah, look, I don't want to see more Donk in the game. I haven't seen a lot of that lately, which I'm glad for, but it's not fun going up against Donk. It could work with some fun shenanigans is where this card is probably for the most part. So, we'll see what it does.
Mhm. Then we have your Misty's Gyarados. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts here.
All right, so Misty's Gyarados. This is a single prize stage one, and I love single prize stage ones. First off, so and
Mhm.
this is that,
This
and a
one's
single
more
prize
like
stage.
Malamar than Ethan's, in my opinion.
It could be. So this is single prize stage one that attacks for one energy, and that is like as good as it gets in my world when it comes to Pokemon. I gotta say.
I like Pokemon that attack for free.
Well, you got to have standards to me.
Uh-huh.
So look, it does 70 damage. You discard the top 7 cards of your deck, and it does. This is a fun meme deck, obviously, and it does 70 damage for each Misty's Pokemon you find there. The problem Malamar was better because the cards went back in your deck, and it wasn't just Pokemon. Here they
And they
get
were in your
discarded.
hand, so you knew how much you do.
Yeah, so this is not as good. Now it goes with the Misty Psyduck, right? So and we all love Psyduck because it has the slapstick jump ability. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon's on your bench, you can discard the bottom card of your deck. And then if you do, you discard all cards attached to this Pokemon, which should be none, and then you put it on top of your deck. So you get 4 Misty Psyduck into play every turn.
Hmm.
Now you're guaranteeing 280 damage, right?
Yep.
Every turn. You just got to get the Misties back into your hand, the Psyducks, and then back onto the bench to get back on the deck. And of course, you're discarding 4 extra cards every time you do that. Plus, you're discarding 7 cards off your deck. So you better win fast with this deck. I got to say that, right? Because you're going to
Yeah.
churn through your deck like crazy. So it's a lot of fun. You're probably, I guess that you're probably going to lose by decking out a lot. But 1 energy stage 1 potential out of damage. You're gonna just play a ton of Misty's Pokemon. A lot of them probably be evolutions you can't play. I don't remember what they all are. So we do have a lot of recovery cards to get cards back in your deck. So I think you can get something kind of semi-viable, which isn't all right. Maybe that doesn't make it top 10, but it's a lot of fun as well. I got to say.
I think it's kind of fun. There are a lot of or not there's like a chunk of cards like these, and they're all kind of fun and all kind of bad, right? The best of them
Yeah.
have been kind of bad. So, I think it's like a decent version of that type of card. It's actually pretty strong, and you do have the Misty Psychic to be consistent. I'll also mention the item card. Oh, where is it? The item card Sacred Ash. I'll also mention, so are Sacred
Yeah.
Ash or Energy Recycler like close to your list,
Um, I didn't really.
or do you not
Well,
like consider them?
well, that one I wasn't sure about Energy Recycler, right? Because that's
Well, that's
been
like
in the
not in
game
the
already.
game. Yeah, well, they both have. They're both
It's
reprints of
been,
older cards. Energy Recycle is much more recent. I think it was like printed
yeah,
multiple times. Sacred Ash was printed once. But anyways, the ones recover 5 Pokemon from your discard into your deck. The ones recover 5
right.
energy from your discard into your deck. Sacred Ash is decent for Misties. They're both decent cards.
Yeah.
And the reason, honestly, I didn't have them there, I just don't really like to talk about cards that are like reprints. And they're not absurd. Like they're fine. They'll probably end up seeing play. They're definitely decent cards. But Sacred
Right.
Ash is good for Misties. I think it's like actually really good. Also, you are like milling random cards from your deck, so you're gonna end up like milling some recovery, which is kind of awkward, but and stuff that you need. But you need a lot of Pokemon recovery.
Oh, right. We have Sacred. Right. Sacred Ashes is the same Japanese set, so it's meant to go together. But with that and the rods and stuff, you should hopefully you got to obviously need a lot of Pokemon to discard. You need a lot of recovery items to make it happen. So and then you kind of hope as you go. So but we both have had some kind of fun hopeful cards on our list. I would say so. The Misty's Gyarados is that category for me.
I guess, yeah. And then the next card I have, or no, let's go to yours, your Yanmega. Oh no, the Rocket's Mewtwo EX. We haven't talked about that yet.
Right. And okay. And that didn't make your list, huh?
No, that was a bit off. It was 12.
Okay. So it's got the power save ability. You can't attack unless you have 4 more Team Rockets card or Rockets Pokemon in play, but that's not too tough to do. And then it's got the attack, 3 psychic energies. Of course, one you can have 2 if one of them is your Team Rockets energy. It does 160, and then you discard up to 2 energy from your bench Pokemon. It does 60 more damage for each card discard that way. So that 60 could be one of your special energies, right? The downside is you got to power it up. I don't.
Wait, sorry. What did you say? Oh, you could discard. Yeah, you could discard special energy.
a
Speed
sp-
special energy is only 160. Sorry, it's only 60.
Oh, the special energy just counts as 1 energy.
Yeah, well, so you can
Oh, since
discard.
each card. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, the problem is how do you get its work? How do you get the energy in play on your active and the bench? And it doesn't say psychic energy, right? So you could have we do have some energy acceleration cards that we talked about one already. We have actually we talked about I mentioned the oh, there's Grimmsnarl as well, and I have one on my list.
Yeah.
So we have energy acceleration, right? Which is good. We could play
with the Stevens Metagross, is that what you're saying?
Well,
Wait, no, what were
probably
you
not
saying?
that. Well, actually, we have that. We have Ethan's Ho-Oh. We got
Yeah, the
Marnie's
Yanmega.
Grimmsnarl.
Yeah.
On Yanmega. So we got a lot of energy acceleration.
Yeah,
I
and
was
they're all
thinking
like,
Zatu.
Yeah.
I was thinking Zatu, which
So
is
you're saying
probably
on
what
the
you do.
list, yeah.
No, but of these, there's actually a lot of energy acceleration in this set,
Yeah,
which
but
is
they're
I
all
was
like
a bit
kind of
surprised
niche.
by that.
Um,
Yeah, but you're going to need energy acceleration. You probably do Zatu, but I think we both agree Zatu engines are a little underwhelming. You probably maybe you play the TMS Gogopod. I wasn't thinking of that before, but that might actually be the better way to do it because it doesn't have to be psychic energy, and that draws you some cards. I gotta, getting the energy in play is tricky, and you got to get yourself powered up. But here's the good thing about it. There's one good thing, really. 280 HP on a basic. Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
How about that's very very good there, right? So it's a real beast of a Pokemon.
Yeah,
So
maybe it's just like a stall penny loop, Turo loop card. You just got like, you just play it over and over, and your opponent never knocks it out, and that's it.
yeah, look, I think you're gonna have a Team Rock. I think I'm gonna have a Team Rockets deck, and this could be kind of the main attacker. But then I have several other Team Rockets as alternate attackers, right? Some of these single prize Pokemon. So it's a bit of a box where I have multiple copies of the Mewtwo as kind of the theoretically generic main attacker. That's how I kind of envision it in my world.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a lot of bench space issues with this, or you could play the Air Zero Underdepths. But then now that I think about it, you especially what you said earlier, you want to play the what's it, the Team Rockets Watchtower?
Supporters,
Yeah.
you're right. So you don't want to have yeah. So it has issues. The Mewtwo. I kind of talked myself out of this card as I was trying to sing his praises, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do think it has serious potential, and I would not be shocked if it's good, but I think the ability is holding it back. I don't think it destroys the card, but I don't think it's something you can just ignore either. I think if it didn't have the ability, it would be a really nice card. You can't, like, the issue is if you want to play, like, say, two Ogerpons, I don't think losing the effect of, what was it? The Team Rocket's
Supporter or the
Ariana.
stadium.
Yeah, but
Right.
well, you can still like play. Yeah, so let's just say you're playing the Team Rocket's Watchtower, but now Team Rocket's Ariana doesn't really do anything, or it's much weaker. But I think that's all right. You have two Ogre Ponds, then you have the four Team Rockets Pokemon, and that's okay. Then you don't have like Fizznifty EX or anything like that, which is a little awkward. I think you can kind of get away with it. I think it's pretty awkward, and like you don't really necessarily have enough energy either because you still need five, or no, you need five, but you need four. You need the Team Rockets, another energy on Mewtwo, and you need two on the bench, and that's awkward. But I do think there is something there. It's like you do have like a lot of HP and solid damage. I mean, you have theoretically as much damage as you have HP. And so it's like a decent Pokemon with, again, a lot of potential, but a lot of hoops that are kind of awkward to jump through, but it is feasible.
Yeah, and the other thing is it may be, you don't want me to say it, but it may be an expanded card. I'm going to say it. Just you play it with Shadow Rider, right? Maybe you play it with
But Shadow Rider's just like Zadu. Well, wait, yeah, it's like
well, I'm just saying you play it with Lunatone Soul Rock, right?
um no, but I don't think
You
that
need to
solves
get these
any of the
energies in
issues.
play.
I don't think
Well,
that
you need
solves
to
any of
get
the issues.
it powered up, and you got to get energy on your bench somehow. It's yeah. Okay,
I think you could
so
play it like with I'm not sure. It's kind of awkward, but it has potential. Anyways, then you
yeah.
have Yanmega EX. Can you talk about that one a
Oh, I
little bit?
love Yanmega EX is awesome. So let me get the text up here to read. So stage one, it's a two pricer. That's the downside, but it's a this card is insane. This card is Fortress EX, but better. And I don't know
That's
if you
true
can
for
get
most
much better than
cards.
that. So 280 HP. That's like the HP you want, right? It's weak to lightning, not fire. So I'm probably glad about that, right?
Um,
Um,
yeah, maybe. And it doesn't matter that much, but it's fine.
So, but then here's what it does. It's it's an attacker and it's an engine and it powers stuff up all at the same time. So it's got the Buzz Boost ability. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from the bench to the active spot, and you know how you do that, you attach your Jet Energy to it, which I know you hate that, but I'm putting 4 Jet Energy into this deck. Um, Plus switches. You move to the active spot. You search your deck for 3 basic grass energies. Always better to search your deck than either place, right? You don't even hand. You don't have to discard. You get those energies when you want, and then you attach them to this Pokemon. So all of a sudden, boom, 4 energies in play because I played the Jet Energy. Or you attach something from hand, right? Then there's 210, which is okay. You'd like it to be higher. I get that, but it'd be too good otherwise. I think they understand how good this card is because then what you do is you hit into them 280 HP. You might get one shot, you might not. Either way, but what happens is you move those 3 energies you accelerated onto a bench Pokemon. So not only does it power itself up to attack, you now powered up your Pokemon for the next turn. And in Grass Energy, Grass Pokemon, we know Grass Pokemon are always the way to go.
Uh-huh.
So no, but you've got 3 energies for 2 turns in a row. So you can attack with 4 energies one turn and 4 energies the next turn off this Pokemon, and you've done 210 damage along the way. That's what I think. I think the energy acceleration and the fact you move to the bench, the energies after you attack, I think it's actually a good thing here.
I think it's okay. Like I think it's not terrible. I think it's all right. If we got a good target to move it to, I'd be like, yeah, this is pretty interesting. It could be played with Hydrapple EX, which is kind of bad but kind of funny, interesting. And they're like some things that it's okay with. I just don't think it's quite good enough. It's a little short in damage, and the targets to accelerate to aren't great. And it's accelerating using its attack. It is damaging. It's doing substantial damage while it's doing that, but I don't know. I think it's a little weak. This one wasn't really in consideration for me. Yeah, it's okay.
The question is, what other attackers do you put in the deck, right? I think you put like a 2/2 line of this with some other grass attackers, and you're glad to attack. This is what you want to attack with like on turn 2 because it powers up your other attacker. And of course, you can power up your Mew EX. You can power up your Pheasantipity EX, which is actually not a bad attack, right? We don't use it much, but you hit 100 damage any place. So that if you have cards like that in the deck, which you may. It works, right? Yeah, so you have some different targets for it. So I'm not sure where it goes, but I think it's fun because that energy acceleration and they stay in play.
Yeah. I have one last card on my top 10, then I have a few honorable mentions to talk about, but this is the Cynthia's Garchomp EX. I think this is decent. I originally had the Ho-Oh EX. I made that change to the Ethan's Ho-Oh EX. I made that change last minute, but Ethan's Garchomp EX has 2 attacks. I've lost it. So it does 100 for 1 fighting, and you can drop till you have 6 in hand, or 260 for 2 fighting and discard all energy from it, and it does have free retreat. The Cynthia's Gabite searches for Cynthia's Pokemon, the stage 1. And then you have the Cynthia's Roserade, which is a big part of this, where you do 30 extra for each Cynthia's Roserade on your bench. They do stack with each other. So you can be doing probably, an extra 60, I think is fair, which is one-shotting most things. It's pretty good. And then you have the tool Cynthia's Power Weight, giving your Cynthia's Pokemon 70 more, this Pokemon's attached to 70 more HP, which I think overall is a really, really solid combo of cards, where you're going to be able to do good damage, have a bunch of HP. I personally like Steven's Metagross a little bit more than it. It's a little more tanky, and it's a bit more versatile. I will also mention Cynthia's Garchomp EX is fighting, so there is the card called, I don't remember what it's called. It's like Premium Power Pro or something. I don't know. It's like Plus Power, or no, it's like Power Tablet or Electro Power. We do 30 more of their fighting Pokemon. It's not out. It's not out yet. It won't be out by the time this comes out. It'll be the set after, I'm pretty sure. So that's a card I figured I'd mention here, which does make this a little better eventually. Not that much, not that long after it comes out. So that's like okay. I think overall it's going to be decent. I think it'll be played a bunch, and I think people will like it a lot. I don't think it's amazing though. I think it's okay. But still it is okay, and it's like I could definitely see it being a top 10 deck, like near the bottom end of that.
Yeah, obviously you need to buff the damage because otherwise 260 is just not a number you want to be hitting. So you got to get get the Pokemon in play to get the damage level you need. And you lose the energy, so you can do that attack one turn. Then you're doing just 100 the following turn. I'm guessing.
Yeah, but you're like two-shotting. It's kind of like the Steven's Metagross, in that regard. It's flipping between 2 attacks, but doing 2 shots there.
It
With
is, except
potential
you're
for
getting
1 shots.
Right, but Steven Metagross is tankier, higher HP,
Well,
and
it's like,
the damage
well, it's damage
reduction.
reduction, but it's like the same HP.
Yeah, I think I have a greater chance of having to be three shot with the Stevens
Oh yeah,
Metagross,
I
though,
think
right?
I don't think you're getting three shot of the Steam Spy. I think you're getting maybe two shot it, maybe three shot. Yeah, it is tankier. But I think like Cynthia's Garchomp is still pretty tanky and has does more damage as well.
Yeah, look, I mean the Stevens has the ability, right? That's part of the Metagross. That's part of what makes that good, right? And a little more versatile.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, I think it's fine. I just don't think it's great. And obviously, it was the bottom of your top 10 for you. So, um, I mean, 100 damage draw to six cards in hand, not bad. It's a stage two, so to me, I want a little more out of a stage two. That the problem is, it's a good stage two, but you got to do all the work to get it set up, right? So, is it good enough at that point?
Yeah, I think
I'm a
with
little
Premium Power Pro, which again isn't out, but I'm kind of counting here. I think it is good enough. Um,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't taking that into my equation obviously when I was doing my list, but yeah, okay, fair enough. So that's your list, and we covered my list as well, right? Because we talked
yeah,
about the Typhlosion briefly too. So
yeah. Do you have any honorable mentions? I have like I just looked and we covered all mine except for one, or a set of cards.
the Grimmsnarl, which
Oh, okay.
I've mentioned, but Marnie's Grimmsnarl, it's a stage two. Again, EX, what it does is when you play it from your hand to evolve your Pokemon, it's more energy acceleration, which I love. You accelerate up to five, and search your deck for five basic psychic energy, darkness energies, and attach them to your Marnie's Pokemon any way you like. So, five energies is a lot, right? A lot.
Yeah,
I
no,
think you'd agree about
it's a lot.
that. So that's kind of insane. How good are the Marnie's Pokemon? That's the problem, possibly. But the attack itself does 180 and then 30 to when your opponent's bench. It's okay, the attack, but I think that ability, I like the ability a lot.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think like there's like decent stuff with the Marnies. I don't think it's amazing though. I think it's one of the weakest sets of trainers. I have it above. It's on a similar level to Ethan's. I don't think Ethan's is very good. And then
Okay.
no, I think I think Ethan's a little better with the Ho-Oh. And then you have I think it's better than Misty's, and I also think it's better than because I think Misty's is kind of like silly, but it's not that
Okay.
different. And then definitely better
All
than
right.
Marvin's.
So I do have two other honorable mentions. I'll just say quickly, and these you won't count. So, but these are the cards that get overlooked all the time. One is Judge, a very good
Oh,
card,
yeah, but that's like not
and
really that doesn't like count.
I'm just saying, but it never gets counted. And the other is like one of the best cards ever that never gets counted, and that's Switch.
Oh,
Boring,
yeah.
but actually, if it was a brand new card, it would be, it would be on our
Yeah,
list,
no,
right?
that's true. Judge isn't even like reprinted with the new regulation mark. Oh, Switch also isn't, but I imagine
Okay.
Switch will return. Judge might not. But anyways, that's fine. I have cards that I think might like, and they're the Rotoms. They do.
Okay. Yeah.
There are four of them. I don't remember, but for two
I think there's
colors, they
four.
do
Yeah.
30 for each tool attached to all your Pokemon. There's a lightning one. Some of them have 80 HP, which is like bad. Some are less, which is better. The one is 70. That's like the sweet spot. But there's a lightning one, the regular Rotom. I think there is a
Yeah, grass, water, and
fire.
fire. So,
Okay. Mhm.
which is good weaknesses to hit for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty solid. I don't think they're amazing. They're kind of awkward to power up, not that bad, but it's not like one energy attachment. Um, they're fun. Nothing too crazy to say about them, but they're cool. I guess there's some other two Rocks Pokemon we didn't mention. I won't really go over them, but there's some that are okay, and I think we understand that, but we're not going to cover them
Ye-
here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I had some like the Spite Ops and stuff from Team Rockets that I think is interesting and such, but
Yeah,
not
Team
not good
Rocket's
enough
a
to make the
great
list.
ball. That card's pretty bad. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Consider checking us out on YouTube, on Common Fossil and 10 Types, and on, wait, are we still on podcasting platforms? I don't know.
We are, yes.
Okay, we might end up reworking that as well at some point. But we hope you enjoyed. And as always, consider, again, checking those out, liking, subscribing, comment down below your thoughts as well. And as always, we're excited to see you in the next episode.
Take care.